Horizon Giants Musuji reaction, and this is Genetic Engineering Will Change Everything Forever. CRISPR by the channel Kurzgesagt in a nutshell. Designer babies, the end of diseases, genetically modified humans that never age, outrageous things that used to be science fiction are suddenly becoming reality. Yeah. The only thing we know for sure is that things will change irreversibly. Yeah. CRISPR. CRISPR is basically a strand of DNA as far as I know. I don't know. So I remember, remember hearing a podcast from Lawrence Krauss. He was talking about this, so with somebody who's an expert at, this genetic DNA thing. So CRISPR is basically, I think, strand of DNA. So basically this strand of DNA, if you change it, you could change a lot of things. Like you could cure diseases, cure deficiencies, defects. But genetic defects, birth defects, whatever. You could, basically DNA change people, designer baby. So basically you could change somebody's DNA. So it's like, the person when he grows could have great DNA. So if he works out, he could be big as, I don't know, like Brock Lesnar or something. He could be really big. He could be fast. His vision could be, extremely good. And lots of things, the immune system could be extremely strong. So basically what happened just now, in past year, lots of people died. If we mastered this CRISPR, our immune system would have been so strong that it wouldn't have mattered if something like that come. So if we can strengthen our immune system, things like just happened, the pandemic, we wouldn't even realize the pandemic came and went. People would need to say it on news, oh, by the way, there was another strand of viruses came and went by. Nobody even noticed it. That's how it would be if we could do that. So CRISPR is, I think, the next level biological scientific field that if we can master, that is really big thing. Basically DNA is the one of the core thing of the biology you can go to, and if you can edit that, and they are already doing that, they are making great progress. They are the starting line of these things and they are getting success. So there will be a time where we could do this very well, I guess, and change a lot of things. We could cure cancer too. Cancer cells basically multiply and hides from immune system. So if we can do this, basically it immune system could get better at detecting and killing all these cells. So cancer could be cured, diseases could be cured. You could have super strengths, I guess, in some form here and there. And yeah, basically the future is going to look completely different with all the technology that's coming, with all the AI and self-driving cars, and in biology this. God, after 50-100 years, how the world will look. That's just ridiculous. We see 3 centuries ago, 1700, 1600, we see those people like, damn, no industrialized revolution, no nothing. It was completely different. No mobile, no computer, no internet. That was some weird time. I can't live with those times. People a century or two from now will say the same thing about us. So this CRISPR is going to be awesome. I've written quite a few Kurzgesagt videos already. If you haven't seen them, check out the card. There's a playlist I created for it, Kurzgesagt reaction. Check out the playlist too, like real life floor, CGP Grey, internet student, salmonella, things like that. And yeah, Kurzgesagt is a great channel. I love all the scientific topic from this. And sometimes Kurzgesagt video gets blocked. So I don't know why. Some gets blocked, some don't. So if this gets blocked, I would put checkered box there, but I guess we'll see. So yeah, let's watch this one.
Imagine you were alive back in the 1980s and were told that computers would soon take over everything from shopping to dating and the stock market. That billions of people would be connected via a kind of web. That you would own a handheld device orders of magnitude more powerful than supercomputers. It would seem absurd.
Yeah, computer thing. I don't know, I was watching a documentary about Steve Jobs or something about computer, how he was just a hippie that went to some company and told them, your circuit board is really bad, and they just hired him. And since that, obviously everything changed. And I remember thinking the computer was a thing that was nobody thought would be a everyday thing, because people like, why would somebody want a computer like this in their home? I mean, this is more office type thing. And somebody came up with, oh wait a minute, I could make a game from this. I don't know which game is that. That table tennis type of game, but in the video game with the two thing moving up and down and ball going. That's, I think, the first game they thought of. That's somebody created that, and they thought, what, this could attract people. So this could put computers in people's home, and games was the first thing. that made computer more, I guess, desirable. So people say games, stupid games, who cares about games? Man, games is the reason computer became widespread. And because computer became widespread, all these things got honed. You have mobiles and all the computer related things. So yeah, before, at the time of that, if you told that computer is going to be the biggest thing of all, it's going to be in everything, even in your greeting cards, there's going to be a computer. People are going to be, are you high? But yeah, that is the case right now.
But then all of it happened. Science fiction became our reality, and we don't even think about it. We're at a similar point today with genetic engineering.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Where it came from, what we're doing right now, and about a recent breakthrough that will change how we live and what we perceive as normal forever. Humans have been engineering life for thousands of years. Through selective breeding, we strengthened useful traits in plants and animals. We became very good at this, but never truly understood how it worked until we discovered the...
Yeah, banana and dogs are the best example. Banana look completely different than it looks today because we did that. Same thing with the dogs. Dogs didn't existed. We domesticated wolves and slowly they become that dogs. So yeah.
Code of life, deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA. A complex molecule that guides the growth, development, function, and reproduction of everything alive. Information is encoded in the structure of the molecule. 4 nucleotides are paired and make up a code that carries instructions. Change the instructions and you change the being carrying it. As soon as DNA was discovered, people tried to tinker with it. In the 1960s, scientists bombarded plants with radiation to cause random mutations in the genetic code. The idea was to get a useful plant variation by pure chance.
Yeah, radiation is obviously, unstable element that if you just expose the plants with the right type of radiation, it could change DNA in some way.
Sometimes it actually worked too. In the 70s, scientists inserted DNA snippets into bacteria, plants, and animals to study and modify them for research, medicine, agriculture, and for fun. The earliest genetically modified animal was born in 1974, making mice a standard tool for research, saving millions of lives. In the 80s, we got commercial. The first patent was given for a microbe engineered to absorb oil. Today, we produce many chemicals by means of engineered life, like life-saving clotting factors, growth hormones, and insulin, all things we had to harvest from the organs of animals before that. The first food modified in the lab went on sale in 1994, the Flavor Saver tomato, a tomato given a much longer shelf life via an extra gene that suppressed the buildup of a rotting enzyme. But GM food and the controversy surrounding them deserve a video of their own.
Yeah, seriously.
In the 1990s,
GMO has such a bad rep, it's just ridiculous. It's not harmful to you, man. GMOs are safe. But people don't trust it. Every supplement I buy, there's also, it's GMO free, it's GMO free, GMO free. Man, GMOs are not really bad, come on.
There was also a brief foray into human engineering. To treat maternal infertility, babies were made that carried genetic information from 3 humans, making them the first humans ever to have 3 genetic parents. Today there are super-muscled pigs, fast-growing salmon, featherless chickens, and see-through frogs. On the fun side, we made things glow in the dark. Fluorescent zebrafish are available for as little as $10. All of this is already very impressive, but until recently, gene editing was extremely expensive, complicated, and took a long time to do. This has now changed with a revolutionary new technology now entering the stage: CRISPR. Overnight, the costs of engineering have shrunk by 99%. Instead of a year, it takes a few weeks to conduct experiments, and basically everybody with a lab can do it. It's hard.
The music is playing, it's like he's giving some board meeting presentation, like introducing CRISPR.
To get across how big a technical revolution CRISPR is. It literally has the potential to change humanity forever. Why did this sudden revolution happen, and how does it work? Bacteria and viruses have been fighting since the dawn of life. So-called bacteriophages or phages hunt bacteria. In the ocean, phages kill 40% of them every single day. Phages do this by inserting their own genetic code into the bacteria and taking them over to use them as factories.
Look at that thing, looks like a spider, god damn.
The bacteria try to resist, but fail most of the time because their protection tools are too weak. But sometimes bacteria survive an attack. Only if they do so can they activate their most effective antivirus system. They save a part of the virus DNA in their own genetic code in a DNA archive called CRISPR.
There you go.
Here, it's stored safely until it's needed. When the virus attacks again, the bacterium quickly makes an RNA copy from the DNA archive and arms a secret weapon, a protein called Cas9. The protein now scans the bacterium's insides for signs of the virus invader by comparing every bit of DNA it finds to the sample from the archive. When it finds a 100% perfect match, it's activated and cuts out the virus DNA, making it useless, protecting the bacterium against the attack.
There you go.
What's special is that Cas9 is very precise, almost like a DNA surgeon. The revolution began when scientists figured out that the CRISPR system is programmable. You can just give it a copy of DNA you want to modify.
Yeah, so I guess that's how immune system works, yeah? Yeah, I didn't know that. That's a good new information. So that's why people say if you get a virus once, and if you survive, basically you get immunity because of things like that. Cas9 is the reason, huh?
And put the system into a living cell. If the old techniques of genetic manipulation were like a map, CRISPR is like a GPS system. Aside from being precise, cheap and easy, CRISPR offers the ability to edit live cells, to switch genes on and off, and target and study particular DNA sequences. It also works for every type of cell, microorganisms, plants, animals or humans. But despite the revolution CRISPR is for science, it's still just a first-generation tool. More precise tools are already being created and used as we speak.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that
in 2015, scientists used CRISPR to cut the HIV virus out of living cells from patients in the lab, proving that it was possible. Only about a year later, they carried out a larger-scale project with rats that had the HIV virus in basically all of their body cells. By simply injecting CRISPR into the rats' tails, they were able to remove more than 50% of the virus from cells all over the body.
Whoa, that's a immense level of reduction. That is great, man. See, this is already showing promise. So all the incurable disease are not going to be incurable pretty soon. I mean, in a few decades, but still. Yeah, also, and we'll be able to live longer. Yeah, this is the way. CRISPR is the way we'll live longer too, I guess. Aging will be stopped. This is why they're saying that the person who'll never die is alive today. This is why.
In a few decades, a CRISPR therapy might cure HIV. And other retroviruses, viruses that hide inside human DNA like herpes, could be eradicated this way. CRISPR could also defeat one of our worst enemies, cancer. Cancer occurs when cells refuse to die and keep multiplying while concealing themselves from the immune system. CRISPR gives us the means to edit your immune cells and make them better cancer hunters. Getting rid of cancer might eventually mean getting just a couple of injections of a few thousand of your own cells that have been engineered in the lab to heal you for good. That
is the thing, isn't it? There will be a time where kids will, I don't want an injection, it's just a cancer. There will be a time where a kid will say that.
First clinical trial for a CRISPR cancer treatment on human patients was approved in early 2016 in the US. Not even a month later, Chinese scientists announced that they would treat lung cancer patients with immune cells modified with CRISPR in August 2016. Things are picking up pace quickly. And then there are genetic diseases. There are thousands of them, and they range from mildly annoying to deadly or entail decades of suffering. With a powerful tool like CRISPR, we may be able to end this. Over 3,000 genetic diseases are caused by a single incorrect letter in your DNA. We are already building a modified version of Cas9 that is made to change just a single letter, fixing the disease in the cell. In a decade or two, we could possibly cure thousands of diseases forever. But all of these medical applications have one thing in common. They are limited to the individual and die with them, except if you use them on reproductive cells or very early embryos. But CRISPR can and probably will be used for much more. the creation of modified humans, designer babies.
Yes, I understand what he was. I was confused what he's saying. Yeah, but if you use a procedure on a guy, the guy will die, and whatever you did with him died with him, obviously. But if you use it at the early stages, like in embryo or something, the baby that will come will have some kind of edited DNA that will carry over to the generations, I guess. Yeah, that is true. So there will be a resistance with people, just like how GMO has a resistance. People will be like, I don't want gene editing. But the point is, some people will do it. Let's say 2% of the population. Over time, those population will, basically mate with other, and generations of generations will eventually will have this kind of an edited DNA. So yeah.
And will mean gradual but irreversible changes to the human gene pool. The means to edit the genome of a human embryo already exist, though the technology is still in its early stages. But it has already been attempted twice. In 2015 and 2016, Chinese scientists experimented with human embryos and were partially successful on their second attempt. They showed the enormous challenges we still face in gene editing embryos, but also that scientists are working on solving them. This is like the computer in the 70s. There will be better computers. Regardless of your personal take on genetic engineering, it will affect you.
Yeah.
Modified humans could alter the genome of our entire species because their engineered traits will be passed on to their
Not affect you as in us. We could, say no to that and we won't be affected, but our children's children probably.
children and could spread over generations, slowly modifying the whole gene pool of humanity. It will start slowly. The first designer babies will not be overly designed. It's most likely that they will be created to eliminate a deadly genetic disease running in a family. As the technology progresses and gets more refined, more and more people may argue that not using genetic modification is unethical because it condemns children to preventable suffering and death and denies them the cure. But as soon as the first engineered kid is born, a door is opened that can't be closed anymore. Early on, vanity traits will mostly be left alone. But as genetic modification...
Yeah, but just like everything, it has positive thing, it could have negative thing too. If somebody screws up that thing, it could have really bad ramifications. But I guess that comes with every other field. So yeah, that's... In the end, it will benefit, I guess, all the population.
becomes more accepted and our knowledge of our genetic code enhances, the temptation will grow. If you make your offspring immune to Alzheimer, why not also give them an enhanced metabolism? Why not throw in perfect eyesight? How about height or muscular structure? Full hair? How about giving your child the gift of extraordinary intelligence? Huge changes are made as a result of the personal decisions of millions of individuals that accumulate. That
is something, isn't it? Higher intelligence. What if CRISPR is at the point where it could, change the DNA of a baby at the point that, baby has higher intelligence, like, Newton, Einstein, people like that. And there are lots of Newton and Einstein walking around. Any field they touch and work on is just gonna get advanced really high. Imagine, there are thousands of Einstein and Newtons walking around and they are all scientists working on issues. The humanity will, skyrocket, I guess, at the whole another level. So it's that kind of thing. Small thing here and there, DNA, CRISPR, things like this, small scientific discovery could create something which in the end could, create so many things that would skyrocket the humanity at whole another level. In next century or two, we would be completely different people. Who knows?
A slippery slope. Modified humans could become the new standard. But as engineering becomes more normal and our knowledge improves, we could solve the single biggest mortality risk factor, aging.
Yeah.
2/3 of the 150,000 people who die today will die of age-related causes. Currently, we think aging is caused by the accumulation of damage to our cells, like DNA breaks and the systems responsible for fixing those wearing off over time. But there are also genes that directly affect aging. A combination of genetic engineering and other therapy could stop or slow down aging, maybe even reverse it. We know from nature that there are animals immune to aging. Maybe we could even borrow a few genes for ourselves. Some scientists even think biological aging could be something that eventually just stops being a thing. We would still die at some point, but instead of doing so in hospitals at age 90, we might be able to spend a few thousand years with our loved ones. Research into this is in its infancy, and many scientists are rightly skeptical about the end of aging. The challenges are enormous, and maybe it is unachievable. But it is conceivable that people alive today might be the first to profit from effective anti-aging therapy. All we might need is for someone to convince a smart billionaire to make it their next problem to solve.
Yeah.
On a bigger scale, we certainly could solve many problems by having a modified population. Engineered humans might be better equipped to cope with high-energy food, eliminating many diseases of civilization like obesity. In possession of a modified immune system, with a library of potential threats, we might become immune to most diseases that haunt us today. Even further into the future, we could engineer humans to be equipped for extended space travel and to cope with different conditions on other planets, which would be extremely helpful in keeping us alive in our hostile universe.
People who choose to be like fish living on a fish-like planet. Damn. What is that, Europa? I think that's the one, right? Which has lots of water in it. So some place like that, you know, people living as fish, that's just ridiculous thinking about it.
Still, a few major challenges await us. Some technological, some ethical. Many of you watching will feel
More extreme version would be that if we do something to our skin, that we are more, you know, immune to UV radiation and different type of radiation, so we don't need a suit in the space. We eliminate needing to breathe, and by just, you know, use some kind of a food intake to take oxygen in your body, so we don't have to breathe. We could literally stay in space. We could literally walk around on moon without worrying. Damn, that would be something. That's way far ahead, but still.
comfortable and fear that we will create a world in which we will reject non-perfect humans and pre-select features and qualities based on our idea of what's healthy. The thing is, we are already living in this world. Tests for dozens of genetic diseases or complications have become standard for pregnant women in much of the world. Often the mere suspicion of a genetic defect can lead to the end of a pregnancy. Take Down syndrome, for example, one of the most common genetic defects. In Europe, about 92% of all pregnancies where it's detected are terminated. The decision to terminate a pregnancy is incredibly personal, but it's important to acknowledge the reality that we are pre-selecting humans based on medical conditions. There is also no use in pretending this will change, so we have to act carefully and respectfully as we advance the technology and can make more and more selections.
Yeah, seriously.
But none of this will happen soon. As powerful as CRISPR is, and it is, it's not infallible yet. Wrong edits still happen, as well as unknown errors that can occur anywhere in the DNA and might go unnoticed. The gene edit might achieve the desired result, disabling a disease, but also might accidentally trigger unwanted changes. We just don't know enough yet about the complex interplay of our genes to avoid unpredictable consequences. Working on accuracy and monitoring methods is a major concern as the first human trials begin. And since we've discussed a possible positive future, there are darker visions too. Imagine what a state like North Korea could do if they embraced genetic engineering. Could a state cement its rule forever by forcing gene editing on their subjects? What would stop a totalitarian regime from engineering an army of modified super soldiers? It is doable in theory. Scenarios like this one are
goddamn zombie-like, undead type of super soldier things. Oh god, that is so true. Just like it has positive, it also has million negatives too. Damn. I mean, I guess you would have to be really careful how you, reveal your secret, how to do, genetic editing, I guess, so not anybody can do it. Who the hell knows? But yeah, no, I think it's gonna be a public thing, and yeah, somebody could do something like that. That is ridiculous.
Are far, far off into the future, if they ever become possible at all. But the basic proof of concept for genetic engineering like this already exists today. The technology really is that powerful.
Yeah, that is the thing. Yeah, super soldier and editing at that level is a bit far. Closest thing we can do is small thing, which is destroying diseases, illnesses, things like that, defects. Yeah, super soldiers and things like this kind of far, I think.
might be a tempting reason to ban genetic editing and related research, that would certainly be a mistake. Banning human genetic engineering would only lead to the science wandering off to a place with jurisdiction and rules that we're uncomfortable with.
Yeah.
Only by participating can we make sure that further research is guided by caution, reason, oversight, and transparency. Do you feel uncomfortable now? Most of us have something wrong with them. In the future that lies ahead of us, would we have been allowed to exist? The technology is certainly a bit scary, but we have a lot to gain, and genetic engineering might just be a step in the natural evolution of intelligent species in the universe.
Yeah, could be.
We might end disease. We could extend our life expectancy by centuries and travel to the stars. There's no need to think small when it comes to this topic. Your opinion on genetic engineering? The future is approaching no matter what.
Yeah.
What has been insane science fiction is about to become our new reality. A reality full of opportunities and challenges. Videos like this would not be possible without viewer donations.
Yeah, people, go to patreon.com/Kurzgesagt. This is a great channel. I love this topic. Yeah, CRISPR is the next level thing. That's gonna be really important for basically I think all the sciences are advancing great, but biology is one thing we are behind, because something like what we just had in the last year could cripple us. So CRISPR is really important. If we master that, we will be really advanced species, because if we can dominate our own biology, everything else will come along just fine. So yeah, this is really important thing. Alright people, that was genetic engineering. If you like my reaction, don't like, subscribe, check out the reaction, there's a link in the description, check out the Khas World playlist, check out the end cards, and yeah, I'll see you next time.